Great. This is our first day of the cleanse called the 9th of September. However, it is a timeless video and we can listen to it whenever we feel the need to get on with this cleanse in the future. So Marilyn, it's nice that you're here. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm going to start right away with incoming food and outgoing, because the first question was potatoes, right?
Yes.
Would you start with potatoes and corn? I'm not going to pull up the big list of things because it gets, we all of us have the list. We can look at them. But what happened, there's two things on that list that is not there of other vegetables, which is white potatoes and corn. They're not on the list. No, they're like, do not eat during this cleanse because they are expansive and they slow down things in the digestive tract, and they act kind of maybe like a stopper. They're very high in sugar, which means more mucus in general. So that's why it doesn't work during just for these 21 days. And what happens is this powder that we're using from SP Complete, the Purification Cleanse powder, the wellness formula, and if we're using the whole food fibers as well, they are designed to go in and vacuum suck and clean out the organs, and especially the liver, and purify. That's why it's called the Purification Cleanse. I did not make the name up. It's on the Standard Process website. And so what I'm trying to get to is that we are drinking these smoothies with the berries, the fruit, the vegetables in it, and mixed with water and the powders, and all of that combined will like speed up the elimination system. It will help us. It will go and sweep out toxins and purify, and like it's like a reset for the whole digestive system. So if we end up eating foods that does the opposite, that kind of stops us up, it's like that we meet in the revolving door and nothing goes in or out, and it just becomes a stop, and here comes the bloating, and we're wondering why I'm not going to the bathroom, what's happening, why is this cleanse not working? And maybe it's because we're eating wheat. The only grain on this cleanse is quinoa that's recommended. But I will push the brown rice for celiac people, for people with celiac, because quinoa has a mimic effect on the breakdown on the protein like wheat. It's not gluten, but it has to mimic up the breakdown. So sensitive celiacs can definitely feel that. So they have taken away all the grains. There's no grains in this cleanse. It's, I mean, we could all do a cleanse without these powders and do no added sugar and no grains and no potatoes and corn. It'll be a big difference for our digestive tract. Some of those foods causes like many of us are on this cleanse because like, oh, I'm bloated, I don't know what I ate, just like, why am I bloated? I should not be bloated. But we eat maybe food that causes small little damages in our lower intestine that becomes like a little
Maria, where were you?
Tiny little holes, and it becomes something called leaky gut, and that is sometimes why we have our bloating into our lower bellies sometimes too. There's many reasons, but that's one. We're just going to touch on that. Okay, so that was the potatoes. No potatoes, no corn, no popcorn, no mashed potatoes, no chips potatoes, none of that. Just whole foods. It's hard, but it's not so hard. It's kind of a privilege that we have so much to choose from when it comes to whole foods. Just go for the whole foods. Cooked, raw, steamed, sauteed. You can put butter on it. You can put your oils on it, olive oil, all the healthy oils, not the hydrogenetic oils, but the healthy oils. Everybody knows the omega-3 oils at this time. There's no dairy in this cleanse. So we do not eat dairy because that also acts like a stopper, and also it can be inflammatory. And we talk about what to eat when we eat dairy later on towards the end. No dairy for the 21 days. Okay, so what's the side effect? Somebody asked me, don't you get tired? Don't you need to sleep? How can you hike and teach yoga? And I actually get energized. I get kind of energized from it because all the chocolate that I eat is not is not there to put me on the roller coaster of up and down. There's no chocolate. There's very little caffeine on the coffee. I have had a few cups. I started a week ago. However, and that's the one side effect. You might get more energy. Believe it or not, you might get more energy. And another side effect is, yes, the headaches. You might feel headaches, especially the first week. And if you, it is recommended, like I said in the previous video, to take like a week of taking away processed food. Take it away. Because if we take everything away today, then we might get a little bit more of a headache. We drink water and it'll go away. The headache is just like withdrawals from processed food, sugars, wheat, dairy, all those things. Yes, and here's Carol. Yay, Carol. Okay, we have started talking, Carol. I don't know if your picture will come up or not, but that's okay. I'm just going to keep on talking. And you get to catch up on the beginning soon when I send it out. Okay, so yeah, lightheaded perhaps. If we're like, whoa, it feels a little bit like somebody's pulling the rug out. It's like, whoa, should I eat more? Well, and we just need to this is a good 21 days to retrain our brains of what food to go and reach for. We are going to go and reach for the whole food. We are going to have plenty of snacks at home. You have by now stocked up already on plenty of snacks of whole foods. You have your quinoa cooked. You have maybe brown rice cooked. You have some of those beans that are allowed to cook, the black beans, the black-eyed peas, I think it was, and a few other things. On their garbanzo, were they allowed? I can't remember. But
I think so.
I think so too. And lentils, you have it ready so that when you open the fridge looking for something, you can scoop it in right away, so you can get grounded and don't feel lightheaded. Because yes, that is a side effect too. But then because we're pulling out like the glue, which is the gluten, the grains and the potatoes and the corn. It's out the door, and they make us like feel full all the time. But they can also make us feel bloated. It takes a lot of time to digest them. Okay, so no processed food. Okay, we know that. We did the dairy and the corn. Okay, and the potatoes. We did all that, and wheat. We just talked about that. Now, the processed food, I think this is just so important to know. Something that has been processed, if it has 48 ingredients in it and we buy it prepackaged, oh boy, does it take a long time for our digestive system to break that down. And talk about getting bloated, and talk about using up enzymes from our tongue, from our digestive tract all the way into the stomach, and all the organs is going to have to pitch in to try to get some sort of nutrients from that processed food, even though it says, oh, protein this, carbohydrate this, nuts, raw, this and that. If it has so many ingredients and we don't know what it is, chances are that it's going to damage our digestive system more than feed us. Go for the whole food. This is a non-processed cleanse. There's no processed food in any cleanse in the entire world. So nothing packaged. They would come to the superfoods. Maybe they will be packaged, some of them. I mean, apples in a package. Yes, fine. We'll go for the freshest options first. Fresh first. And yeah, we can cook it. We can freeze it, blend it, however we want, saute it again, oven, this and that. But we go for the freshest options. We don't go and pick up dried apples or dried mangoes or dried this and that, because they usually have a whole bunch of preservatives on them just to be able to stay dried, right? Unless maybe we do it on our own, some of you guys. And then, yes, okay, because if we eat food that acts like stopper, dairy, corn, potatoes, grains in general, processed foods, then it is taken away from the body, who is like, okay, let's cleanse. We have all these yummy smoothies coming in with these powders that are designed to help us to clean out the debris and reset our systems. If we add on foods that does the exact opposite, it feeds us later, maybe, but not during this. It's like, bing, they're having like a fight and it doesn't feel good. Olive oil and butter, Remember that you can eat fat, very important. Remember that you can make your own broths. I picked up a jar and tried to buy some broth, but I'm like, there's a few things in there. Filler this and vegetable, this oil. I'm like, nope. So highly recommend put in a slow cooker, put it in little jars, or just scoop it up in a cup or eat it as soup. It's very satisfying. Put some salt in it. You can do all the herbs, all the fresh herbs. You can do the dried herbs in your little spice cabinets. Just make sure they don't have the fillers, because some of those dried spices have wheat as a filler to make them last longer in a processed form that I don't even know the name of. Okay, you have plenty of whole food snacks at home, ready to go. Dry cabinets. Maybe you have some canned vegetables or fruits there, because it is allowed to do that too. If you're like, okay, I don't have anything fresh at home, I don't have anything in the freezer, which I'm hoping that you do. But you could get canned vegetables if you wanted to. Just make sure they are just in their own juice, nothing else. They are handy to have by if we're going somewhere in the car. Okay, have plenty of whole food snacks at home. Okay, water is important to drink, very important. We can come into that later, like how much for each person and the weight and the times this and subtract that. Drink your liters of water, 1 liter, 2 liters a day. Broth, yes. Okay, so to get the cravings away, because when we take we're gonna come to sugar too, but when we take sugar away, which is all of the things we just talked about, dairy, potatoes, corn, wheat, all of that is sugar in a way, right? And then we have the other sugar too. But when we take the sugar away, we get like, oh, I need some food, I feel a little lightheaded. So make sure that you have one good thing to have at home is all the root vegetables. So you can easily just cut up root vegetable and fry it up with some saute, and it resembles it's filling. It's and it's good. Don't fry it so much that it gets burnt, just because we want potato chips. But you can saute it a little bit. Yes, that was me yesterday. I was like, oh, okay, a yam and olive oil and salt, and I had beans with that, and then I was very happy. But it was a crucial moment in between before it was ready. But then it was ready, and it's like, okay, stick with it. We're sticking with this because these jars that we're purchasing, they're quite expensive. So make it work while we're doing it. Don't waste these powders of like having a fight in the stomach of like, oh, I'll just have a little bit of popcorn. No, because it'll set you off. Okay, yams and the pumpkins, squashes, all of those this time of year. That's why it's so good to do the cleanse this time of year, because those vegetables, root vegetables, and yeah, squash is not a root, but all of the fall ones are very nurturing and very filling, right? Salt, oils, butter on them, your beans, your quinoa, right? That's it. And then make sure to have your greens with them, even if the green is the crisp lettuce, any form of greens, because it helps with the elimination. It helps with the cleaning out. It aids the smoothies, right? The more we put in the smoothies of the green stuff, the more it helps. But it has to taste good too. Yeah. Okay, let's just talk tiny bit about sugar, and then the other Zoom calls, I want to go through like my little health coaching 12-step program that we have done several times here in Norway, but sometimes we forget, and it's nice to hear it again. And certainly questions. Sugar. Can we have like the whole sugar thing? Okay. We need some sort of like carbohydrates, and we're getting a lot of carbohydrates in all of the fruit and berries and vegetables. And I can also say that raw honey is a raw food, right? We know that. There is some of the maple syrups that are raw as a whole food. And that can be a lifesaver one day if we need something in our tea or what we put it in. But we're going to rein it back again. And just so we know that sugar is sugar is sugar is sugar, a female liver can take care of 6 teaspoons, 24 grams of added sugar a day. Now, yes, added sugar is the white sugar, and that what we read in all the packages, if we happen to buy food in packages, in all the chocolates, in everything. Now, But the honey and the maple is also sugar, and the stevia is sugar. And what else do we have? Stevia is in the cactus.
Monk
Agave
fruit.
sugar. Pardon?
Monk fruit.
Yes, yes, correct. Now, if we go and get like this, if there's nobody on this call, but maybe there's somebody later on that might listen to this on the YouTube channel. If you can go and get a sugar cane, you can probably eat the whole thing because it's a whole food, right? That's not like added sugar. That's not sugar in per se. 24 grams of added sugar for a female liver and 36, I believe, grams for a male liver is what we can digest and what the body can take care of. But it would be so much better for the body if it was a whole food sugar than any white stuff sugar. So with that said, even if we do honey, agave, monk fruit during this cleanse, stevia, or the other one, maple syrup, it is still 6 teaspoons per day for women, and it is 8 teaspoons per day, 9 teaspoons per day for males. Just to throw it out there. So we have that in the back of our mind. Okay, during this, I think it's a great idea to write down what we eat. If you've done it a few times, some of you have, and you might have written it down, and you kind of know what makes you feel good and what doesn't. If you're unsure of what makes you feel good and what makes you bloated or not feel good, write things down what you eat. So you can go back and be like, oh, okay, I had only tomatoes in that salad, just a whole bunch of tomatoes, and I was not feeling good. Maybe it's too acidic. Or if you eat something and you're not filled up, maybe you need to add some root vegetables, for instance, to that meal next time, or something like that. Yeah, there's a tiny bit of like, we drink a smoothie down. That's a lot of fruit and vegetables and berries in there. So yeah, we're going to feel a little bit bloated from there. But if it stays with us for the whole thing, just check and see what goes into my smoothie. Check and see that. Take note what was going into your body and what goes into your smoothie. Journal about it. And that's all I wanted to say for this time. Because then that was because I know we're like, woo, I can feel the collective. It's like, okay, that's all we can take in right now. But Marilyn and Carol, who is here, please throw me some questions.
I want to know about the broth. So generally you make bone broth or chicken broth, but and that's okay that it's from meat? Okay.
Yes, it is, because it becomes a fat because there's no meat in it. I mean, there might be some tiny residues, but yeah, you've done plenty of bone broth, I know. But yes, it is one of the healthy fats that is allowed for this one, because it doesn't interfere. It actually helps. As you remember, already that it helps, like the bone broth fat that's in there. It helps to clean out the intestines, the stomach lining, the intestines, and at the very same time, it lines it and it heals it. It's like the broth can heal a damaged stomach that has a leaky gut. I'm going to go that far. There's lots of medications for that, but I'm going to go as far as that. 1 cup is plenty.
Okay. And then, of course, no meat whatsoever.
No meat whatsoever. Because, okay, the white fish, if we feel like, I have no, and there's nothing. Yeah, then we've gone too far, because we should feel even, right? They should feel even. They shouldn't be it shouldn't be that all we think about is food. And then we need to journal and write, okay, put a piece of cod with it, because cod is very easily digested and it doesn't necessarily interfere with the powder. A chunk of meat, I believe that chicken meat and fish, I believe that's what it says in the PDF, if we needed to. And I know we talked about eggs the last few times. My very first one I did with Lynn Mayer. I learned all of this from Lynn Mayer, licensed nutritionist for many, many years. I don't even know where she is now, but she works for Senna Process, I know, the last 10 years. But she said that, hey, Marie, if you needed some protein, more protein, cook an egg. I had 2 eggs a day my very first time I did this, and it really changed my whole life, because I took away, this is 4 14 years ago or something. But so if we needed to, have a cooked egg with your smoothie so you feel like you get balanced if you felt like that. Nuts, no nuts during the cleanse. The after. After.
Okay.
Because it's also hard. It's hard, but we could soak it, but it's still a pretty hard protein to digest. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's good, and it's good to know that this is a 21-day purification cleanse, and there is something where we eat whole foods and we drink our smoothies. Mine right here, my second one for the day, and we don't eat the animal protein unless we feel like we're going to topple over. Yeah, by all means. But if we can't, like if the meat, it's gonna crash like with the smoothie powder. It's gonna be like, oh, it got stopped in there. Everybody's trying to get in and out at the same time. But there is another diet not to be confused with, which is amazing. It's called Whole30, when you do only whole foods for 30, and then you eat all the meats you want. But that's a whole different story. But I would like to do that too one day after, when we all set up. So this is just time to up-level our eating habits. Up-level, up-level, up-level. And clean it out, reset for the winter. Pay attention to what makes us feel good and what does not make us feel good. And then we move on from there. 2 to 3 smoothies a day. Put all the vegetables and fruit and berries that you love in there, along with the powder.
Yeah.
Yes, I think Carol is on. I think she's there, but I think she's somewhere where the Wi-Fi is kind of low, but I think she's there. But yeah, that's it. That's it for now.
All right.
Okay, there's Carol.
I just wanted to make sure about the eggs. That's all.
Yes. Did you hear about the eggs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
I need something a little more in the morning sometimes.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. And what did you say last time about oatmeal, like steel oats?
Yeah, I did that last time because I was so excited that I could actually eat oats again after since my celiac diagnosis, whatever, 17 years ago. But I have to tell you, I stopped it this time, and it's moving much faster. I can tell a better for a good reason. Oats is not on that list because it's not a good substitute. I cannot recommend it.
Okay.
That's why the only grain they have is the quinoa. And it's not really even kind of a grain. It's kind of a protein. If you can eat quinoa, I highly recommend it.
I can eat quinoa. And the problem I have is just those drinks for the first part of the day sometimes just aren't enough. And I don't want, then I want cravings at lunch and later in the afternoon if I don't get it right early in the morning.
Yes, correct. So that's why do your hard-boiled egg.
Okay.
1 or 2 take one with each smoothie. If you needed to, have your white fish and eat some white fish if you needed to. But just notice, and if you add on chicken during this whole 21 days, this is not a starve us kind of thing. This is eat more. Sometimes, okay, I'm just going to stay on this subject. But if you notice, Carol, that if you are doing the fish or the chicken, because I want us to eat, right, and feel good. But if you notice, wow, now I'm getting bloated. It's trying to pull things out and digest the chicken and fish at the same time, and it becomes like a little havoc.
Okay, that's good information. Thank you.
Just pay attention to that. Perfect. Yes, I don't want anybody to starve on this diet at all. It's actually the opposite. I don't know about you guys, but I can sometimes have my tea or coffee in the morning and I'm like, oh, it's 2 o'clock. I haven't had anything and I've been sipping water. And so we're eating more. We're drinking these smoothies, eating more, getting more in us of the vegetable, fruit, and berries so that we can help the body to release. Because, if we live on coffee or tea for half of the day, most likely is that we have a stagnant digestive flow. So eat more veggies and cook and steam and saute and do all that we need to. Have plenty at home. I am going to close out the, anything else, Marilyn? I'm just going to close out the recording.
No,
Okay.
no more.
Okay.